Thanks again for staying with Africa News Network First Fast Live. My name is Cindy Mabi. The new ANC National Executive Committee is all set for its crucial first official meeting. The ANC Top 6 gathers in East London as of tomorrow, and the meeting comes ahead of the party's 106th anniversary celebrations this weekend. ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa will deliver the January 8th statement at the event. Meanwhile, Ramaphosa has been escalating calls for unity in party ranks. He's met with King Zwelithini as part of a charm offensive in KwaZulu-Natal. Ramaphosa believes a rerun of the KwaZulu-Natal elective conference could unite disgruntled factions. And sources suggest several key topics on the new NEC's radar during this meeting. These include preparations for the January 8th statement that Cyril Ramaphosa will deliver on Saturday. There's also election of the 20-member National Working Committee, and sources say President Jacob Zuma's future may come up for discussion. This is amid an ongoing allegations and court battles around state capture. And joining us live is ANC reporter Kelden Ogumu from East London. Good evening to you, Kelden, and thanks so much for joining us. We haven't spoken yet, so compliments of the season are indeed in order. Just a sense of the suggestions that we're hearing. Of course, top of the list, many would say that it is the impending future of President Jacob Zuma, or his political career at least.
Well, season's greetings to you too, Cindy. What we hear on the streets here is just unity, unity and more unity. We thought this word would end where ANC's national conference ended, but it seems like this word is getting louder and stronger. People are emphasizing on this word. You heard President of the ANC, Cyril Ramaphosa, today, while addressing community members, stressing on the word of unity, saying ANC cannot look back. In fact, you must look forward. We have to unite, because without unity, ANC is nothing. That's what he said. And he also said that ANC is planning to go back to its roots, where they're going to meet community members, where they're going to talk to traditional leaders, royal families. And, they said there's no factions, there's no agenda. ANC should be a new ANC going forward. But of course, coming back to one of the most important topic, the ANC NEC, tomorrow they will be meeting for the first time since the new top 6 has been elected since the ANC National Conference. Tomorrow, of course, the media has been invited for the photo opportunity around 12 at the ICC here in East London. It is going to be a historical moment. Media will be given an opportunity for photo opportunity, and as a usual norm, SG does speak to media. Informal briefing is expected. However, we haven't yet been given a confirmation as to whether or not the SG will be speak, but I'm saying usually SG does speak to the media. But like I said, it's going to be a historical, a special NEC meeting. Words are on the, everywhere saying, one thing mostly main on the agenda would be whether or not President Zuma will be recalled as the head of the state, as the head of the republic. Those are words on the ground. But however, we have been speaking to a lot of ANC officials, ANC NEC members, stating that whether or not President Zuma is going to attend the NEC as ex officio member, or whether or not he will not be invited. There are words doing the rounds in the town saying that he is not invited, but we have also gotten a confirmation from at least two NEC members saying there is no such. As a norm of the ANC, when the first NEC meeting is held, there's no such invites, and it's up to President Zuma or not whether to attend. But usually it's a norm where the first NEC meeting is held, only the NEC members meet, and some of them have even said that there's nothing of that sort on the agenda, or whether or not they should recall the president. Because it is the first meeting of the newly elected NEC members, they will be discussing only on what should be on the January 8th statement. So basically, some of them are saying it will just be on the statement, what the Jan 8th statement will be. But however, to elaborate on these, we have the group political editor of ANN7 and the New Age, Sifiso Matlangu. Can you tell me, of course, tomorrow the ANC NEC will be meeting for the first time. The main issue, the elephant in the house, the issue of recall of President Jacob Zuma. Do you think the NEC sitting for the first time will discuss this matter?
Well, good evening to you and good evening to the viewers, Calden. Since the precedent has been set so high with the axing of former President Thabo Mbeki, as soon as the new president, which was President Jacob Zuma at the time, took over as president of the ANC, Mbeki was recalled. And so I think the president has been set, and it's very high, that President Zuma will go sooner rather than later. There is a lot of speculation, even as the ANC has painted the streets of East London black, green and yellow, particularly in this week. But Mr. Julius Malema tweets and says President Jacob Zuma will not be in office in December. We understand that a lot of ANC NEC members still want President Zuma to go. Mr. Derek Hanekom, Mr. Lamula, you can believe that that notion will come sooner rather than later. It's true that people have always called President Jacob Zuma to go. There are people in this current NEC who don't like him. However, there are people in this NEC who are also very pro-Zuma and who are pro-Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. So that notion might not erupt tomorrow morning, even as speculation is so rife. But what will happen is sooner rather than later. The ANC has got to look at the elephant in the room and discuss whether or not President Jacob Zuma will go. But I think, as the NEC progresses in its duty, the responsibility of the ANC is that it is the highest decision-making body in between conferences. Now, everyone in the NEC would like to be a minister or a deputy minister, or at some point an ambassador. And the person who appoints ministers is then the head of state, who in this case is more than likely to be Mr. Ramaphosa. So we will see that the Zuma camp will diminish and the Ramaphosa camp will grow bigger and bigger, because as a saying in Hindu goes, everyone worships the rising sun. And so you'll see that people who are pro-Zuma, who we've always known to be pro-Zuma, will start to warm up to Ramaphosa because he will be the man in charge. There's a new sheriff in town.
Yes, I was just coming back to that. You just put words into my mouth on the same thing. We've seen many of President Zuma allies actually, softly, friendly towards Cyril Ramaphosa, who is the newly elected ANC, and he will be, of course, as ANC a norm stands, the next president of the ANC will be the president of the head of the state. But do you think at this given point of time Ramaphosa will take this chance? Because he says this is the time. He's finally the president of the ANC. This is the time for them to unite the ANC, because next year is a general election. This is the only opportunity that they have to bring back all the members that they lost.
Well, the reality of the matter is that Mr. Ramaphosa desires to be the head of state. He would want nothing more to be the head of state. And one should not pretend that this election happened without any games. This election was truly so fair and truly so impartial that Mr. Ramaphosa will have an easy reign as president of the ANC or president of the country. It's not going to be that easy. We have a matter of the 86 votes, and we don't know how that was concluded. All the PECs were disbanded, and so he won by 179 votes over his counterpart Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. So he's won by a very thin chance, and some people in the NEC still believe that Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma has won. If you do the maths, it only means that 179 people in the whole of South Africa within the ANC actually prefer Mr. Ramaphosa as their president over Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. That's a very thin number. So he's got to convince people throughout the ANC and eventually throughout South Africa that he is the man, that he is the man to bring radical socio-economic transformation. And many, many people do not believe that. So Mr. Ramaphosa has got a big game. He's got to win the wards and the branches of the ANC. Many of them who don't think that he is the man, that he is cut out for the job. And I think that's why his voice has changed in the last few weeks, right after the elective conference. He's spoken about the expropriation of land without compensation, which was something he's never said. So he's going to take the Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma rhetoric and start sounding like her, because that's how he's going to win KZN, which is very divided at this point. So in order to be the influential branch leader of the ANC, to govern from Luthuli House and to govern from the Union buildings, he needs to bring the ANC unitedly into the palm of his hand. And he's not going to do that unless he speaks the language of the people at this point, which is radical socio-economic transformation. And notwithstanding that, he's also got to win investors, which I think he's already done. He's already done, won the hearts of big capital in this country. He's already won the hearts of the investment, and people consider that the rand is strong today because Ramaphosa is the president. But his biggest fight is to win the branches of the ANC, those in the Free State, those in Mpumalanga who really endorsed Ms. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma. However, the ANC today has come to be very united, saying that they will not discuss factions and that they are truly rallying behind Ramaphosa as their president, which is a noble cause. But in reality, Mr. Ramaphosa has got the fight of his life to bring a united ANC to the January 8th statement that happens on Saturday, and to get endorsement from all of South Africa, taking him from Luthuli House right up to the Union buildings. It's not going to be an easy task.
Well, thank you so much, Sifiso. But Cindy, of course, until the actual ANC NEC sits for the meeting tomorrow, is just assumption. We can only talk to sources via SMSs, texts, phone calls. There have been many rumors. It's so until the actual meeting tomorrow, the NEC members sits. It's all about calling up your sources, asking what's really on the agenda. But so far, ANC has not confirmed. They've said that they haven't yet discussed what's on the agenda. But of course, like I said, many of them have said this NEC should be just to discuss the Jan 8th statement.
And Calden, before we let you go, there's also talk that Cyril Ramaphosa, ANC president, suggests that the rerun of the KZN provincial elective conference would unite the factions within the party. Would that not open floodgates for other disgruntled members in different provinces to pursue litigation as opposed to dealing with matters internally?
Definitely, Cindy, that is one thing everybody is talking about, but ANC officials actually seem to be preferring at this moment to keep mum on the issue. However, like I said, and even like you saying it, all ANC officials, the new top six is talking just about unity. Before ANC sat for the national conference in December, we were seeing a lot of, factions on the Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma slate talking about something, Ramaphosa slate talking about something, President Zuma's allies talking about something. But at this given point of time, Cindy, it's really surprising, actually, if you even follow some of these officials who actually was giving media a lot of scoop, from inside as a journalist. Those members and officials also seem to be keeping mum on all these issues and saying that, now everything is over in the ANC national conference. We all decided that we will stand united as an organization. Our only aim going forward is uniting the ANC, because if that does not happen, we are going to see a split ANC, and come 2019 general elections, ANC is going to lose. So I would have loved to answer that question of yours, Cindy, but really at this given point of time, like I said, it's just going to be assumptions from my side and, just quoting other media reports. But really at ANC officials, nobody is really saying anything at this given point of time, Cindy.
Yeah, and very briefly, Cyril Ramaphosa also saying that this is a year for renewal, not just for the party itself, that South Africa finds itself in a precarious, it's almost a crossroads, that it's not just about the ANC, it is indeed about the second transition as to where South Africa is going.
Yes, exactly. That is what he mentioned today as well. He specifically, to be exact, he says, whatever bad things have happened in the past, let's not turn back, Let's forget about those bad things that have happened in the past. Let's look forward, turn towards the position, which is the right position of looking forward, and move towards that. That is why he says, ANC has celebrated many birthdays. It is 106th birthdays, but let this anniversary, let this birthday be a special one for ANC. That is why he said, he is making sure that the top six, newly elected top six, is going to community members, talking to them. They're going to traditional leaders, like I mentioned before. They're going to meet the royal families. And he even gave reasons as to why these events leading up to the main event that's on the 13th. He says why they have been visiting grave sites of popular ANC leaders and stalwarts. He said this is mainly to show that ANC really appreciates the leaders of the past, but however, this is the time ANC must stand ground, ANC must stay united. It's a new, refreshing ANC. Without unity, this party is not going anywhere. So he got a loud cheer and applause from the members here. But of course, even the top six, initially everybody was talking about it's two slates of parties of top six coming together, Zuma as well as Ramaphosa factions coming in together. But now it looks like even those officials, those ANC officials that were supporting President Zuma, who's been defending President Zuma from the beginning, have said, you know what, let's leave this behind. Let's rally behind the new elected leaders. Let's rally behind Cyril Ramaphosa, because at the end of the day, he was elected by the branches, even though he just won by, a marginal numbers. He said, let's unite behind him and take this ANC forward, because at the end of the day, if that does not happen, opposition parties are going to take advantage of this, which they have managed to do so, in this whole year and even last year. So they said, let's not, carry on this way. Let's stay united and let's leave the past behind and let's carry on forward. So, Cindy, going back to your first question, so it's really difficult at this given point of time. Like Sifiso also says, it's difficult to say whether they will really discuss President Zuma's recalling matter tomorrow, because all that we hear right now, like I said, is just the word unity, 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 not just from Cyril Ramaphosa, but all the top six, as well as many of the ANC NEC members.
All right, Keldon, thank you so much. ANN7 reporter Keldon Ogmo joining us live from East London with our group political editors Fiso Mahlango, having their ears on the ground. We'll give you blow-by-blow details as the ANC converges for its January 8th statement, the 106th anniversary of the movement, and we'll give you live coverage from now onwards. Of course, the live presentation of the January 8th statement is this Saturday. So